Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here.
Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast this week. This is a big one. I think it's going to be packed with value and I have so much to share. So I just think we need to dive right in. But I hope that kids are back to school and thriving. Ours have been now for a while because Texas is nuts and sends the kids back in early August. But where we are in northern Wisconsin, the local kids are now going back to school and things are cooling down. I hope they are for you too. Not so much in Texas, which is why we're still here. And everything is so good. So there's just a lot of things happening right now that I want you to know about in case you want to plug into them. And so I'm going to kind of share what's available, what's happening, and we're going to get into some trends. I'm going to share Etsy's trend report, and then I'm going to give you a deep dive on what I'm seeing in trends as well. This is different than I've ever done before. The last several months, I have become much more confident in being able to talk to you about trends and what I'm seeing. And I think I can actually give you more detail and what you actually need to thrive in your businesses with what I am seeing. That'll kind of supplement the Etsy report, which has always been kind of good, but not awesome to me. First things first, I have such a big personal announcement that I'm really excited to share with you guys. And that is that this morning, I was on the podcast with Jenna Kutcher. If you don't know her, she is a marketing genius. She's huge on Instagram. She's one of the biggest marketing podcasts in the world. And she interviewed me for the Gold Digger podcast. It has been a lifeline for me. I've listened to that podcast for as long as I can remember. It has helped me through every phase of my entrepreneurial journey. So absolutely subscribe to it if you haven't before. She is so down to earth. I've always just really vibed with her. And what she teaches and shares and the guests that she has are so helpful. I have learned mountains. That's what I love about podcasting is that you can learn so much for free just by listening in if you're paying attention. And she's just contributed a lot to my journey. And so when I got ready to start this podcast, I actually took her podcasting course first. It's called the Podcast Lab. And it's an excellent course. You guys know I'm a big fan of courses because it saves you so much time. And you don't have to go figure out all the pieces and piece it together. And so I ended up being one of her bigger success stories in terms of podcasting. This podcast now is in the top 1% globally and has over 600,000 downloads. I'm super proud. It's all because you guys are just the most wonderful people on the internet, period, bar none. But so she invited me, and what she's doing is kind of she's doing little mini interviews. So there's 3 of us that are going to be featured on one episode and share our story from taking the podcast lab to our podcast now. And the other 2 guests sound really interesting as well. They're totally different from me, which I think is lovely. And that episode is going to air on October 21st. So I will let you know when that happens, but you can also mark your calendar now. Definitely subscribe to her podcast if you're not already, because it's amazing. I can't tell you, this is just the biggest bucket list thing for me. Lizzie just got a win today. It's like the biggest cha-ching I've ever had. Just so cool to be able to meet her. And I will add this. Jenna always comes across as lovely if you watch her reels or you watch her, anywhere you listen to the podcast. And being with her live, she was actually even more lovely. Somehow, I don't know how she does it. And it was such a breath of fresh air, because you always wondered, what do they say? Never meet your heroes. Well, I met one of mine today and it was totally worth it. And she's an incredible human. So just to say that, I thought that was necessary. So, okay, moment many of you have been waiting for. I'm so excited to announce that starting today, the trend report that I've been promising you, the subscription service, is officially open. So right now I'm just calling it the Trend Spotting Group. Trend Spotting. So the Trend Spotting service where I will send you an email every single week and it will have in it a video of what the current trends are, just like generally overall trends, and it will have 5 product opportunities. And this is going to be specifically for print on demand and digital products, because I realize that physical product people don't need that on a weekly basis. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to work on a report that can be purchased that is, here are all of the physical product opportunities that I see like kind of quarterly, and that will become available. If you're looking for other ideas and things you want to add, or you're a new seller trying to figure out what to sell. But this report, that this subscription trend spotting, is going to be for a weekly email. I'm going to send it straight to your inbox, and you will be able to see what the list is of the trends and the suggested products. And then there will also be accompanying videos that you can watch. They're short, like under 10 minutes generally, that will show you why I think those are good opportunities so that you can see for yourself. It's going to be incredible. So right now, introductory rate, $37 a month. That is going to go up because this is a big piece of work. But if you get in at the $37, you will be grandfathered in at that price for as long as you stay with it. So I hope that this is going to, if there's any question I get asked all the time, like anytime I do any kind of survey, talk to anybody, like, what do you need as an Etsy seller? I need help finding trends. I need help finding opportunities, because it takes, either people don't know how, they don't have the time, it's not fun for them to do the research. And so I'm just like, okay, I need to solve this. And so from now on, you can get a weekly email to tell you what things to look at rather than have to go find them yourself. As always, though, the link for that will be in the show notes. So grab that if you want to jump on, and you'll get, this is the other piece of that. I've created like a freebie that any of you can see. Like, you're not sure you want the service, you don't want the service, you do want the service, it doesn't matter, you can get this. You can receive from me, like today, a sample of what it will look like. So kind of like a freebie week. It'll be a demo, and it'll show you exactly like what you would get each week with the service. So if you want to start with that, that's great. Check it out. That will also be linked, whether you want to just go ahead and get on it right away, or you want to look at the demo. That's for you in the show notes. The next thing that some of you have been waiting on is the Ultra Beginner Zoom coaching group. So I have opened up 2 different times where I will do a 90-minute coaching with ultra beginners. So there is no question that is too simple. There is no skill. You don't need to come to the table with any skills. You just need to come hang out with me for an hour and a half. Let me know what you need to learn. I will also have some ideas that I can bring. I think you probably need to go over this. And the first meeting will be on Wednesday, September 25th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. The second one will be the next day, Thursday, September 26th, but that's going to be from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Both of those are also in the show notes if you want to get your space in there. Super affordable rate compared to trying to hire me for an hour. So as a group, we will be able to do more. And then a lot of times, when you're ultra new, you don't know what to ask. So the fact that you'll have your peers there too, you'll be able to learn things you didn't even know you didn't know. Okay, next up, did you guys listen to the podcast episode number 142? It was the one with Marina, who less than 2 years ago opened up her digital product shop. This is an incredible interview. We had the best conversation, and there was so much gold just to drop for you guys. And so I totally off the cuff in that call was like, hey, Marina, do you want to do a coaching call with me and teach people how to sell digital products on Etsy? And she's like, sure. So we've scheduled it. And so if you want to come, you can. And it's going to be Thursday, September 19th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that one's later than the Ultra Beginner Coaching. Go ahead and register for that in the show notes, and you can join Marina and me. You'll get recordings for all of these as well. And you can come to that call and find out, she's making $7,000 to $8,000 a month passively in less than 2 years. That's mind-boggling to me. She's doing such an amazing job, and I'm really excited. She's using AI to create some designs and incorporating really brilliant research from Pinterest. And I'm just super excited to do that with her. So join us for that if you would like to. And then I think this is the final. Yes, this is the final, just heads up. I'm going to be planning an FAQ episode. I always need to start asking you guys way in advance to submit your questions for that. So if you have Etsy questions, e-commerce questions, physical product, print on demand, digital product questions that you'd like for me to answer on the podcast, you can submit them in the FAQ episode link that's in the show notes. If you stuck with me through all of that, thank you so much. I think it was worth it because there's just a lot happening that's really exciting, and that's going to really support you on your journey if there's anything I hear over and over again, in addition to please tell us what the trends are and what we should design for, it is like we need one-on-one help. Like a course is great, but if I can get with you, that's better. So I'm trying to find ways to get you what you need and make it more accessible to be with a coach live and get that. And it's kind of rare in the industry, I think, because it's hard, when you're juggling everything, it's hard to be doing coaching and all that. And that's why I keep that available. So join me for any of that appeals to you. Let's go ahead now and transition into the Etsy trend report. Of course, as always, I will link what they released down in the show notes for you. They did sort of like, and I think they did this last year, I can't remember for sure, but they like an introductory peek on the trends they're seeing on Etsy for the holiday season. But they're planning another one, which I suspect will be a little more robust for October. So I was like, okay, cool. So we'll do another in-depth trend report episode in October when that comes out. And for this, I'm just going to go over with you the parts of it that are going to be the most valuable to the majority of us. And then I'm going to give you a summary of the trends that I'm seeing as well. Because all of this is just like perfectly in hand with the trend spotting group opening up, or the trend spotting emails. So I just thought, like, let's just have a trend day. And I will go more detailed than what the actual Etsy trend report will be. Okay, so the first thing is they always talk about gifting and occasions, because if Etsy is anything, it is a place to buy gifts. And you know that they've made like gift mode and everything kind of the center like force of the whole platform, which I think overall has become a good thing. But I wanted to mention this. In that section, they created a list of the holidays with the date, and it's not like 3. It's a long list of events, holidays, things like that will be coming up that you could potentially, market to, create products for you. So you might want to go look at the link even just to see that list. I will not bore you with it here. I would just be reading it off to you. But interesting if you want to be designing for the holidays. The next section is decor and style trends. And I thought this was very interesting and a little unexpected. They're saying that Halloween it's like giving a bit more whimsical this year. So they're talking about pastel colors, eye-catching effects, unexpected ideas like a flying saucer disco ball, kind of cool. And then tongue-in-cheek touches, googly eyes. So overall, a softer, more lighthearted approach to spooky season. I am for sure still seeing some dark stuff, but there's a lot of playful stuff. And actually that appeals more to me. I can get macabre if we have to, but I really prefer to be light and fluffy. Thought that was interesting and good to note. More whimsical Halloween. A section that Etsy also dedicated, which I hadn't seen before, or at least not in a while, was statement dorm art. So this year, college dorm rooms are transforming into vibrant personal galleries with bold and expressive art. So searches on Etsy for travel-inspired prints have skyrocketed. I thought that was really interesting, like literally destination. And then rhinestone and sequin art adds a touch of glam to any space. So those are things that people are searching for. I thought this, so they provided some of their numbers. The searches for Mykonos prints are up over 1,000%. Amalfi prints are up 784%. Athens prints up 535%. Shout out to Jenny from the shop who lives over there in Greece. Capri prints 385% up. And then I don't know why they threw in, I'm not totally sure why they're tying this to the college dorm. I didn't really see that. Dorm art is up, the search term is up 20%, and rhinestone or sequin art is up 35%. So those didn't make sense totally to me. I think that people generally are searching for travel-inspired prints. And I don't know if it's just because we are for real moving into a time where people are traveling more and moving about more freely and not feeling as worried about getting sick, or if they're just daydreaming more than ever about being somewhere that isn't here. Either way, I think it's interesting to note that locations and travel-inspired seem to be a big deal right now. This is interesting. There's also a prep style revival. So, I grew up in the 90s and it was all very preppy. And so as students are heading back to school, they're readily embracing nostalgia meets contemporary style through this revival trend. Think classic plaid skirts, monogram sweaters, cute polo shirts, and argyle patterns. This trend brings a modern twist to timeless preppy aesthetics, making it hit with the fashion forward. I think it's kind of cute. So this is really important right here. Searches for bow earrings are up 135%. Now that is going to be a spinoff on the coquette niche, which I will talk about more because it is everywhere. So I don't really see that as being part of the prep revival per se, but just part of the coquette, which I would separate. Khaki items are up 35%, polos up 24%, vests up 16%. Another one, which definitely feels nostalgia for me, is charms. So they're saying individuality is key this year, and charms are a surefire way to stand out amongst the crowd. Whether adorning backpacks, cups, or keychains, these eye-catching accessories allow students to express their unique style. From delightful designs to personalized initials, charms can be mixed and matched for a truly custom look. Plus, they make thoughtful and fun gifts for the back-to-school season. I don't disagree that that's a great gift because it can feel very personal. The phrase cup charms is up 90%, and bag charms is up 29%. So I feel like they're grasping a little bit, but okay, charms. Good to know. This I think is really interesting. So for the holiday this year, there's not just starting in autumn, a nod to nature. We have been seeing the nature trend for, I think since cottagecore hit a few years ago, honestly. So from this autumn design direction, tap into organic inspiration with lush textural finishes. Think skeletons made of clay, dry foliage that shoppers can use well into Thanksgiving, and then again next year, and otherworldly styled plants and planters. Go wild with wreaths, earthy updates, and fall harvest favorites like pumpkins. So some of the pictures that they had accompanying this were like dried oranges, hanging on garland or hanging as ornaments from the tree. That's kind of how they pictured this. But I think for our purposes, we need to just be no matter what we are doing, when we can incorporate nature elements, that is going to be wise. It's just continuing to be something people are attracted to in every kind of niche and every kind of application, different products, is to me the bigger takeaway there. Holiday preview, again, it says nature will continue to make a big impact during the holiday season. Citrus accents, like we said, a nice callback to Chef's Kiss. One of our key trends from spring and summer will pop up everywhere, from mantles to tablescapes. Jewel tones will play a pivotal part as well. Perfect for cozy celebrations with family and friends. Gifting trends. Okay, so they're specifically calling out roommate gifts, saying a thoughtful gift can go a long way when meeting a new dorm roommate, breaking the ice and transforming a shared space into a cozy, welcoming home. From friendship necklaces to embroidered pillows, these gifts can help start the school year and a new living situation on a positive note from day one. So they're saying the search for the phrase college gifts is up 63%, custom-made pillows is up 29%, and friend gifts is up 10%. So I don't really agree with the data on this one. And there seems to be more of a demand for when I went to look, more of a demand for gifts or care packages to send a college student, like when I looked up college gifts. So I mean, roommate gifts, I don't know so much. I would suspect maybe a little thing is handed off, or, you get them a tumbler or something. You'll do something cute together in the room. But the bigger thing there that I saw trending was opportunities for care packages. Let's remember that when Etsy just kind of did a rewrite of their house rules recently, that they made it clear that gift packages, that gift baskets and boxes and things like that were now allowed. They were allowed now, so long as you are curating things. So it's not all from one brand. You are kind of being your contribution as a seller is being the curator. So I think there were a number of listings there, but I think there is going to be a ton of opportunity for that in the for college students. And as the year goes on, that's not going to be just now back to school. The next section was called Kidulting. It's like adulting, but kid on the front. So bridging the gap between childhood fun and adulting, Kidulting brings joy to everyday tasks, and Etsy has seen a surge in searches for crafting kits, offering a creative escape and a chance to unwind for stressed out students and busy parents alike. Custom or personalized paint by number kits are up 22%. Crochet kits are up 28%. And adult crafting kits are up 22%. I feel like I need to say, shout out to April Carer, who's been on the podcast twice, sharing about her crochet, how she went from selling crocheted items to patterns and things like that. She's just awesome. So, hey, how you doing, April? Okay, so I think the biggest value here on this one is the word kidulting, which I hadn't seen before in a trend report, even though this subject has kind of come up in terms of like adult coloring books, which are still very popular. And now they're sort of, in this case, lumping craft kits into this category, which I'm not sure I would do. Like maybe I'm just taking slight offense as a fiber artist, but the bottom line is crafting kits, as we knew, they're on the rise, and we already knew they were super hot. They sell kits. Kits generally sell like crazy. Whether you go the more kidulting route with a paint by number, diamond painting, friendship bracelets, coloring books, or you put together crochet kits, knitting kits, sewing kits, embroidery, punch needling, always have really good tutorials if you do that. But people love, like, I don't know if you've ever gone into a yarn store. I love looking at the yarn, but I'm always drawn immediately to the finished products they have on display to sell the yarn. They're like, you can make this. And then you get like the pattern along with when you buy the yarn. And it's the same going to be on Etsy. If you want to show this kind of you want to show the finished product, and then you can sell the kit so easily. So any hobby, especially the fiber arts, I think kits, they sell well. And people come back for more. That's another good thing. You get the repeat customers. Just make sure that your instructions are excellent and that you don't just think so, like you get them peer reviewed. The next segment is book club essentials. Etsy is saying, as book clubs gain popularity, essentials such as beautifully designed bookmarks, personalized book plates, and other items that celebrate the joy of reading are increasingly on the rise. These essentials not only make reading more enjoyable, but also make perfect gifts for fellow book lovers. So there is a rise on these products, which doesn't surprise me a bit. Magnetic bookmarks are up 73%. Book lover gifts up 54%. Ebook cases 45%. Leather bookmarks up 34%. Book lover items up 29%. Custom bookmarks up 19%. So exciting to see that this is continuing to grow. Really, this is the book core niche or trend, and it's been around for quite a while now. So the bigger aha here is that the bookstagram/book talk niches are massive and only growing. I don't suggest going after those trending products that they mentioned there unless you can bring a really unique and like not intellectual property violating twist to them. Instead, I really encourage you to think about what adjacent products like bookish people would get into and people would want to buy for them. And I do think there's a lot to leverage on this trend. It's not just for the holidays. This has been going strong for a while now, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. And then here we have the holiday preview talking about gifting again. Gifting is going to be all about quality, making each one as special as possible with a focused intention on the details. Personalization will be key. So pause there. If you are in print on demand and have not listened to episode 144 with Stephen Chin, it is all about personalizing like your print on demand products. So like Etsy is saying this is key, and his incredible software called Hello Custom literally does that heavy lifting for you. So the annoying thing about print on demand and custom is like you're only making so much, right? Your margin is smaller than if you are selling a physical product you make because you're paying the print on demand company. And it's super annoying to spend 20, 30 minutes, or I mean, maybe less, but it would just depend, going into Canva to customize every order. So Hello Custom does that for you. It's like an integration between Etsy and Printify, where it'll like edit into the correct font, whatever the custom thing is that the person wants. And it's just mind-boggling how much that just changes the game. So definitely check that out. Listen to the episode. I will also link it and link Hello Custom if you haven't seen that yet. Right now they're running like an ultra crazy special where they're doing like $67 for lifetime access. And before it was like you pay $300 a year or you pay monthly. It was like a subscription service. Now it's lifetime access, and that's just temporary. So jump on that if you haven't yet. Also in gifting, people are looking for sustainability. Shoppers will think about ways to blend old and new to create modern heirlooms. I love that. Incorporating meaningful pieces and vintage for items that can be passed down for generations. That is precious and so applicable to you guys. So this is a new thing that I haven't seen Etsy cover before in a trend report. They're talking about trending tools. And so there is this new-ish thing called cutout stickers on Instagram. And it's where you can like get the pictures of your listings and use a cutout tool to show not the full product picture, but just like the outline of the image. So let's say you sold candles. You could put it into Instagram, it would cut out the background and it would just show a picture of your candle, and you could do a reel or whatever and have your products kind of floating around you. And that kind of thing, anytime you use those tools in Instagram, it like definitely helps your reach. So the more you can use any of those features, that's like a whole different conversation we could have. That would be so fun. So one idea would be like make a trending gift guide with stickers of all your favorite listings for like a fun promo that you could do in your social media if you're doing that. And then finally, Etsy mentioned this, and I think this is good to pass along to you. They have something called the Etsy Creator Collective, which is, it's basically an affiliate program. So for you, I don't think I was able to get approved for it. And I don't know if it was because I was a seller or they didn't like the social media channels that I put forward. But that doesn't mean that you can't, or people you know who are influencers that have good followings couldn't use it to help promote your product and get a cut of it. And Etsy's paying the cut, not you. So it says our creator program called Etsy Creator Collective is a great way to help you get rewarded for the amazing work you're already doing on your channels. So there is a link. You can look into that, and it's just, I mean, I think they might even, I didn't read the terms. Maybe they'll pay you to even promote your own stuff, but they're just trying to help, generate business, rewarding creators for helping do that. So I would look into that. If you do a lot of social media, I think that's a brilliant approach. Oh, and that's like a wrap on the actual Etsy report. Again, it'll be linked for you. And now I want to talk through what I am seeing a little more specifically in terms of the trends. So let's go ahead and start with kind of the Halloween fall trends that are happening right now. So we're definitely seeing your ghosts, your skeletons, which by the way have become year round. So even come January, you can incorporate them into all different things. Christmas, I suggest against just doing your like traditional dancing skeletons that's been done over and over again. It's super saturated, but if you can find a creative new application for skeletons, you can sell it to just about anybody if you get specific enough to what they love. Pumpkins, pumpkin spice latte. We're seeing all of the fan favorites. We're seeing a lot of football. I'm going to just mention now, like as we go through this, one of the biggest opportunities that you have if you are trying to design or create products around these things, okay, so I just said pumpkin spice latte is super in right now. Well, a whole bunch of people have already taken like a Gildan sweatshirt and put a ghost holding a pumpkin spice latte on it. And there are a few that are like best selling. It would be very hard to go try to compete for that. Okay. What you want to take this information to do is trend combine. So down the road, maybe like as I'm talking more into these trends, I'm going to talk about some of the more general trends happening. If you can just keep in mind, okay, pumpkin spice latte is huge right now. Maybe like, because one of the other trends is nature or animals. Maybe I could go like, dog breeds, and find a way to like show a picture of a less common dog breed that's not all over, like doodles are going to be everywhere. What do I always use? I always use the dachshund. Yeah. I usually use dachshund because usually dachshunds are something people search and they're so specific about, and there's not a lot of stuff on Etsy for them often. A dachshund with a pumpkin spice latte. That's the way to use this information. Don't just go try to do another ghost on a sweatshirt. Find a way to trend combine, get creative and bring things together. Serve teachers, but not just your general teachers. Make sure that, and you need to look for the opportunities, like getting more specific into like the administrative staff, which probably is a bit underserved, or the janitorial staff, or the kitchen staff, or the principal. Like look for opportunities that are less generic than teacher. Get as specific as you can and trend combine. Football, huge as always. I already said that. Halloween trends. I'm seeing a lot of animals that are like dressed as ghosts and witches. This was big last year too, where they've got like the sheet over the animal's head, and you kind of see what the shape of the animal is, and their eyes kind of poking out through the holes of the sheet. Ghosts and witches. I'm seeing little witch hats on them. I see a lot of cat stuff specifically, which doesn't surprise me for Halloween. And then this is a big one. So as I mentioned earlier, the coquette niche, which you'll mostly see it expressed as bows, kind of like sometimes feminine, but then sometimes trend combined. So when you're seeing bows everywhere, that is the coquette niche. And I have been doing research for days, for coaching calls, for preparing the trend report, for preparing for this. And I'm telling you, it is massive. Don't try to compete by going in and seeing what someone else is doing as a bestseller and creating your own version of it. Figure out how to trend combine. I don't know how many things I saw combining coquette and football. That might be an interesting one to go after. So any way to incorporate a unique take on coquette bows with the Halloween trends, find new ways to do that. Ghosts and skeletons are everywhere. They're super saturated, but you could sell stuff with ghosts and skeletons if you looked into maybe some of the less common nursing specialties. So, a lot of times you'll see general nurses. There's a lot of stuff for them. There's usually a lot of stuff for labor and delivery nurses, but I don't see as much for and look at Sales Samurai, look at Evergreen, whatever you want to do, to see where the real opportunities are. I'm kind of just pulling stuff out right now, but what about like a CICU nurse, which is a cardiac? What about a pediatric nurse? What about a school nurse? That one's probably more covered. There's going to be all these specialties, and they're all looking for their thing. And so, if you want to do ghosts, do one that is, and make the shirt somehow totally. And I'm saying shirt. This could apply to digital products, to SVGs, to stickers, to even some physical products. There's some things that are obviously like made into trends, or that utilize trends to create physical products. So find ways to trend combine, bringing that really specific nursing thing in with the really popular ghost or skeleton. And that's how you get a leg up into one of those more saturated things that are super trending. Collegiate fonts are still huge. So are retro and 90s fonts, elements. I'm still seeing that, the kind of checker pattern that was really big from the 90s. We're still seeing those elements everywhere. A lot of vintage things, like vintage Halloween pictures, images, concepts, and then, of course, pumpkins. I don't know if I said that before. But again, don't just throw a pumpkin on a sweatshirt. Find a way to trend combine so that someone sees it and you're using the keywords that they'll find you, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was made for me, and it's more personal. Another big one right now is election products. They're all over the place. Depending on what your feelings are about that, I saw a lot more that are supporting the Democratic Party than the Republican Party. So if that was something that vibed with you, you might have more opportunity going after, I think all of it. I think especially on the left, if you do women's rights kinds of things, there's a lot of that. So make sure you're not just copying and you're coming up with your own. There's a lot of opportunity, I think, with that issue, with the environment. Some of those hotter topics, just something to consider. It'll sell a lot if you get the right trend combination going on there. Let's talk Christmas trends. Coquette bows, again, everywhere. Coquette. Totally already taking over the Christmas. And also, like, there are already a lot of daily searches for Christmas shirts. I shouldn't be surprised, but I was just like, wow, these numbers are already, like, there are already all these bestsellers. This is so cool. Family sets are always huge. Again, if you can find ways to trend combine, how could you bring in family matching sets plus, Christmas plus coquette, or plus vintage, or plus, animals, whatever some of these other, niches are. Lots of opportunity with careers. So like everybody, think about it, for like Halloween, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for New Year's, for Valentine's Day, for St. Patty's Day, every person who's in a career where they're going somewhere, they're going to their job, they love wearing something that represents them, right? So start coming up with Christmas concepts that will appeal to each one of those. I don't know where my words are, to each one of those types of teachers. Again, not being super general, but getting as specific as you can. Careers and other careers. Collegiate fonts are big, happening all over the Christmas stuff. Really interesting seeing kind of like maybe like a retro song or Christmas concept, but then with collegiate font. I didn't see as much of the 90s retro, but that doesn't mean it's not there, or it wouldn't be. People would be interested in it because they're interested in it in other applications. Lots of vintage in the Christmas space, not vintage products, vintage concepts on on all of the different, like, digital products, the printables, the stickers, and then also the t-shirts and sweatshirts. Lots of ways to apply that. And then I've noticed there's lots of embroidery. If you are in the apparel or tea towel kind of niche, still tons of embroidery all over for Christmas. An emphasis on Christmas trees, or on, I should say, like fir type trees, that sprucey type trees. So they're not necessarily decorated. I'm just seeing like different shapes and styles of Christmas trees all over, more than I recall in the past. Find ways to trend combine that. For sure. Now I have some more general niches to hit on that I want to tell you that have kind of lasted, that are, when someone's shopping for a Christmas or a fall or a Christmas gift, not fall, for a Christmas gift, they're not just looking for like a Christmas themed thing, whether it be a printable, a digital gift, a piece of clothing, some other physical product. They're just looking for something their loved one would love. So anything that has sold well throughout the rest of the year is going to just still sell awesome over the holiday season. So these are some of the themes that have had a lot of staying power, that the more that you can incorporate and trend combine and find new ways to, let your products shine with some of these trends, the more you can get some headway. So a big one is the espresso martini. I didn't realize this was a big thing, but in the last week I've had 2 different people bring up that the espresso martini has been, shame on me, I didn't realize it's actually been a thing for a while. I thought it was just emerging, but it is here and we expect it to be here for a while. Again, animals and anything nature related, still hard. Now we're seeing the cottagecore die down a bit. It's still around. There are still many bestsellers that are cottagecore, but to be honest, unless I had a really unique application for it, I wouldn't be designing for it per se. I'd be focusing more on some of these other things I'm going to mention. But we're seeing all different applications of animals and nature in funny scenarios, in sarcastic scenarios, in cute scenarios, like definitely animals in nature with the coquette spin. So always animals in nature. The retro / 90s still going strong. It's blowing my mind, but it is here to stay for a while, not leaving anytime soon. The other one that's even bigger, continuing to still grow, is the cowboy core, the Western theme, which has been around for, since last year, but seems to only be growing. Lots of opportunity there, especially when you trend combine. Tons and tons of faith-based. I usually see Christianity, but I also sometimes see kind of more witchy, any kind of faith-based stuff, really big. And they're awesome at trend combining a lot of those designers in those spaces and finding really unique ways of applying it. If that is something that appeals to you, there's a lot of opportunity there. Just don't do anything generic. Like, you've got to find a new application for it. Combine faith-based with cowboy core. Combine faith-based with retros 90. Combine it with animals. Combine, maybe not with espresso martini, depending on which faith you choose, but coquette. So find other ways. I'm about to talk about book core again, and that would be another one. You can combine like faith-based with book core. Other things that people love that would also speak to their faith. It just feels even more personal to them. And then I will mention again, embroidery just seems to be, especially, I saw it on the Christmas products, but all over the place. It's still all over the place. So that is what I have. I would love your feedback on if that was helpful, and or if there's a way I could share all those trends in a more helpful way. Like, this is obviously my first stab at it. I feel pretty confident about the trend spotting weekly report because it's coming with, a list along with videos, and that's just going to be a really, really strong offering for me to send you. But in terms of these episodes, I always want to start including these trend reports overviews now. Obviously, like, the weekly thing is going to be much more specific with product suggestion, like actual suggestions. But let me know. I hope this was super helpful. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about giving you this level of detail, getting your brain going. The next step for you is to go onto Etsy in your niche and start to do some research, like do searches for a lot of your main keywords and see what your competitors are doing. Is there already a lot of cowboy core in your niche? Is that trend already really there? Do you have some creative ideas you could piggyback off of it? Or would it be better for you to take your niche and maybe go more the coquette and start adding some of those kinds of concepts because it hasn't been done as much? So again, you could be selling physical products that you're making, like, tumblers, or you're using a laser engraving machine, and you can be incorporating these ideas into your designs for your products. Same for like stickers or digital products or PNGs or SVGs or printables or anything that invitations, anything that you make. And then obviously print on demand, I think often feels like the most obvious application, but it really is all of them. So go in, look and see what's happening, look for opportunities. Never copy, because it's not good for you and it's not good for the platform, and it's obviously not good for the original creator. But use the research as inspiration. And I think we're going to have the best Q4 ever. I'm so excited. I hope to see you guys on some of these coaching calls coming up. I hope to see some of you in the subscription membership. I just thank you so much for being here with me, for spending this time with me. It means the world to me. To me, time is extremely precious. I'm like a time nut. I'm like a little too anal about time. So it means the world to me that you would spend your time listening to me and trusting me, because that is your greatest asset. You can't get it back. So thank you. I care so deeply about you and your success, and I'm here to support you. If in whatever ways you need, you guys reach out to me, DM me. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at How to Sell Your Stuff. All of these videos and others are on YouTube at How to Sell Your Stuff. My website, howtosellyourstuff.com, has free resources and has all of my other offerings, like coaching, one-on-one coaching, courses, mini courses, the subscription service, whatever you need. And as always, I'll have everything linked today in the show notes. So again, thank you so much. Happy Trend Report Day, and I'll talk to you next week. Until then, go make something awesome. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com, where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.